let's compare AIG versus Allianz, and we will see if North American also we can run the illustration. So at least you will, those who are new, you will learn how to run the illustration and how to do such comparison. So AIG we prefer. AIG is top rated company. Their rates are really good. They're very flexible. Their all the living benefits are great. And their choices for indexes is really good as well. So I'm logging on to AIG. I'm going to WinFlex to run the illustration. And then in WinFlex, I will choose my agent code and go into the illustration software. So you will see that we will run it parallelly, and we will compare the indexes as well, okay? And the end result, we will do the same client for all the three, okay? So let's do 40-year-old client in all the three. So we will go with AIG QL Max Accumulator product. And let's say our client, mock client is 40-year-old, and he's willing to put so we will do solve for income, basically maximum income, okay? But we will do no solve. Let's say we do no solve, and face amount we will usually calculate and keep it minimum. But in order to do apple to apple comparison, let's do face amount 400,000, and premium, this client is willing to put $1,000 a month. In other words, for 15 years, he's willing to put $12,000 a year, and after that, zero. Okay. So, and see, index strategy, this we will compare, that what are the different indexes that are given, choices given here. Merrill Lynch Strategic Balance is really good index, and they are giving 110% participation rate, right? S&P, they are giving 10.2, so they have reduced further actually. It was 11 and then 10.75, and now it is 10.2. So because bond rates are going down, so that's why they are decreasing this as well, the corresponding. But this is Merrill Lynch Strategic Balance Index is the really good one to have for this. So similarly, what we will do is, let's do parallelly, we will go to Allianz also, and we will see our choices there also. So one more thing before I jump into Allianz, I will say that we want to see the disbursement at the age of, we will say, for 40-year-old clients. So for 25 years, we don't need anything. From 26th year onward, we want to see what will be the maximum disbursement. Okay. And for lifetime. And also, we will keep as long as the client is giving premium, meaning 15 years, we will keep it increasing, and after 15 years, we will make it level. Okay. And rider, we will just choose the standard rider here. And that is it. So we are almost ready to run the illustration now for AIG, right? Now, going to Allianz, we will do the same thing. Any questions so far about AIG? So we click onto Allianz. So I suggest everyone should have at least these three companies, you know, AIG, Allianz, and North American. North American and AIG have term. Allianz doesn't have term policy. So that is a drawback with Allianz, but numbers work out really good with Allianz. So in Allianz, we will choose, in Texas, we will choose Universal Life, and there is only one product, Life Pro Plus Advantage. Okay, so here we will do the same mock client and same 40-year-old. And we will do preferred plus rating. And then we click on death benefit and funding. So here we will choose face amount of 400,000. We are not solving for anything. Death benefit option. So from 1 year till 15, we will keep it increasing, and then first we will keep it increasing, then 16 to M, we will make it level. And we don't need third line. So age 40 to 55, and then age 56 to maximum. So increasing and level. This is how we will do it. Okay. So Allianz is a little bit different. And then we will go down and disbursement method, income stream.
Anil, can I ask you one question?
Sure,
quick question.
Absolutely.
What you selected right now is increasing versus level. So I have seen this in the Allianz illustrations, how the number keep increasing of the death benefit and then it stops and then becomes a level.
Correct.
Is there any reason why you're choosing this? Is there any benefit to the subscriber or?
Yep. We will show you. We will show you what is the benefit. So going back to our basic concept of the X curve, right? So X curve, we have a concept that we want to keep our responsibility, like in the young age, we need high insurance, in the older age, we need low insurance, right? So we don't need a very high insurance in the old age, but we want all the premium to come back to us as a retirement income. So if we keep increasing the death benefit, then the cost of insurance become very high in the old age, and our income becomes very less in the old age.
Got it. The expenses will increase basically.
Right. So that is the reason you need experienced financial professionals to help the clients. And even when you do your own financial planning, always involve your upline. And the more experienced person will run a better illustration for you. You know, because I have seen a lot of New York life policies and other policies. Those are like new agents, they run for client and they just keep it increasing, and they put premium throughout the life, and they do a lot of mistakes, heavy mistakes. With time, it like pays off. The policy ends up paying a lot of amount in those fees, right? So
Anil, that brings me to another question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I'm sorry to keep interrupting you.
No, that's fine.
But let's say I'm writing this policy and I make this mistake of not stopping it at 55 or leveling it up, but keep going up. Right. Does this mean that at the age of 55, the subscriber cannot change it?
No. They can change it anytime. They can. So AIG is very flexible. You know, they can change it, but whole life policies are not that flexible, like New York Life and some of the whole life. In those policies, you cannot change, you know. You
Got
cannot change the death benefit. You can, so AIG is quite flexible and Allianz is flexible. This indexed universal life, that is the major benefit, that you can change the premium amount, you can change the death benefit, you can change it from increasing to level anytime. So things like that can be done.
Got it. Perfect.
Okay. So we will go for disbursement method income stream, and two types of loans we can take. One with the, with the 0%, which is standard loan, and indexed, which is, we will go 100% with indexed, because in the income stream, that loan is advisable. And we will take the loan from 26th year onward. That income stream from 26 to maximum. That's what we want to see. And yeah, we will not change anything else. And then in case of Allianz, there are no, means these riders by default it comes with the chronic illness rider. Okay, index allocation. So that is what we wanted to compare. So okay, here they have not given us the participation rate and the cap, but we can go back to Allianz website and we can click on product, and we can click on this one for not indexed annuity, but we want to get the rate sheet for our insurance product. So this is annuity and here is life insurance. So Life Insurance Pro, this product, and we will get the rate sheet. So death benefit, participation rate, how much? Okay, rate watch for the current participation rate. How much index interest? Okay, let's click on rate watch. And we will choose the fixed indexed, and we don't want annuity. So we want to see for the product. So you see that, okay, there are different types they have given. So here the S&P index, if we choose, their cap rate is only 8.25%. Okay, whereas in case of AIG, our cap rate was 10.2% for S&P index. Okay, but the Allianz have, going back to Allianz, so Allianz have blended index. Blended means it is the blend of Bloomberg and PIMCO, the bond index and the equity index. And here the cap rate is 13%. This is really good. And also we have, see, they have, actually that is for the annual point to point. And they have three options: select, bonus, and standard. So even if we choose, let's see, standard. So in case of standard, S&P 500 have 11.25 cap. So bonus meaning they give additional bonus on top of that. So that is described here. Guaranteed minimum trigger interest rate, guaranteed.
I think if you go back to the Allianz page,
yeah,
illustration.
Go back to illustration page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yes.
Here, if you look at it, bonus means 15%, but there is no charge.
Correct.
And
no
the
additional
standard,
charge. Select means 40% additional bonus, but 1% charge. Yeah. And standard is no bonus, no additional charge. That's right. That's right. So if you have to go to S&P index, for example, then I think it makes sense to go with standard. Standard is 11.25% cap rate. It is more than AIG, right? And blended index cap rate is also very high. So let's put 50-50% here, these two standard. So we go back and we put standard blended index 50% and S&P index 50%. Okay. So, and so total is 200%. So we will reduce this to 0. Okay. So we are good with the index allocation. So quick view, if I click on quick view, here it tells me that premium outlay, I have to see why it is less. But I think premium we didn't define properly. Okay, let's go back to our death benefit and funding. So we defined the death benefit. We didn't define the premium correct. So premium is here. So we want to do annual premium $12,000 for 15 years. And after that, 0. Zero after that. 16 to M, 0. Okay. Now we go to quick view. And we see that, so $12,000 premium if this person pays for 15 years at age 65, which is 66th year basically, he will start getting $37,000 income, right? And this is how the cash value is growing here, accumulated value is growing here. You can see that. And the death benefit is growing from 410 to almost 673 in 15 years. And then it is dropping back because we made it level after that, right? So the benefit here is that, see, if at age 60, the cost of insurance goes up. At age 65, it goes up further. But at age 65, accumulated value is already 484. And our death benefit is only 591. So death benefit is, so that means company from their pocket, the client anyway has 484 cash value. So from their pocket, company only has to pay the difference, which is only 107,000, right? So 107,000 only is the company exposure. So that they will only charge the insurance fee for $107,000 insurance. That's it. And if you see in the later age, that difference becomes even less, right? So, so that means the cost of insurance is minimal in the later age. That's the reason this income is this much, right? $37,000 he can withdraw for rest of his life. Now the same thing if we do in AIG, we can get, let's do the illustration here, and we can, so any questions so far about Allianz illustration?
Boss, two questions. This is Amrit again.
Yeah.
One thing, first thing is that, is there any cheat sheet or standard that when I am buying for a subscriber or my client, he doesn't know a lot about indexing and which one to choose and which one not to choose. Is there
Correct.
any standard which accumulates best for him, at least today, in today's scenario, that I pick? So that's my first question, because there's a lot of options, right?
Mm-hmm.
And second thing is, this is a simulated one where he's pulling out $37,000 at a certain age.
Correct.
I'm assuming that is still flexible for him. He can decide to pull out 80,000 at that time,
Right.
on a certain year.
Correct.
Okay.
He can, but what they are telling is if he takes out 37, then the policy will last for his lifetime. It will
Right.
never exhaust. It will never, right? It will never collapse, and his income will continue for a lifetime. If he takes out more than, it is fine if he takes out 60K in 1 year and only 10K in next year. Balance he should make around 37,000 if he wants to last it lifetime, right? Otherwise, it is very flexible. Anytime he needs $100,000, he can take out from 375. Even in 20th year, he can take out $100,000, right?
Right.
So yeah. So this is just a. And to answer your first question, there is no cheat sheet. That is where the experience, our experience of the financial professional will come into picture. And the good thing is you can change these indexes anytime you want, right? If you're paying yearly premium, you can change it once a year. If you're paying monthly, you can change it anytime you want. So indexes, we can vary according to the market performance. All right. So
got it. And do we, because you said that we can change it anytime. We as an underwriter, do we have a role play down the road, like 2 years, 3 years later, in making those changes, or policyholder himself makes the changes?
Policy holder himself can make the change. Usually they get a letter, and what we advise is, as a financial professional, it is actually a good time to get back to the client on their anniversary date. So you can go back. We need an excuse, basically to touch base with the client. So we can say, hey, 1 year, hello, how are you? Your 1 year is over. So now you have flexible. So let's analyze how your policy performed last year and what indexes we should choose for next year. And in those conversations, we will bring out that what other things are going on. Do you have any, did you leave your company? Do you need help with SEP IRA or IRAs or anything? Any referrals and things like that, you can talk with the client.
Perfect. Makes sense.
Yeah. And many a times clients come back, yeah, I like this. Let's do one for my son also, or let's do one for my family also. So we get repeat business based on that. But we usually advise them that what indexes they should choose. So here, AIG policy, 12,000 we are giving, and here the numbers are really high, 57,000. Okay, so let's see why this much difference.
So, Anil, the one difference, starting with is 6.3%, the average rate of, and here return. It's 7.3,
Okay, the rate of return is making a difference. That's a good thing to point out. So average here is 6.3.
That's what I saw in the illustration when you were doing it.
If you go on client.
Go under client.
Oh, sorry, index allocation.
Index allocation it was, right? Okay.
Yes.
6.73.
So here, 6.73 versus 7.3 there. Okay, assumed right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can't increase here, but you can decrease.
I can change it here.
No,
I don't want to. I don't want to. Let me see what else there is a difference somewhere else. It should not be this much. Usually Allianz numbers are better. Right, so we did
see the number of years of payment.
So death benefit and funding is okay. increasing till 55, then level. And we did, this is fine. Disbursement method also is 26th year. And indexed. Okay. So
change the index. I think the index is the standard. If you keep the non-cap, which is 150% participation, that will show higher.
Meaning fixed?
If you go to the index selection.
Or go to index allocation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I generally use the participation rate.
Okay,
just go.
So I came here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, we chose this bottom
blended
two, correct?
Or PIMCO.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we choose the blended, yeah, go Asia, please.
Oh, go to blended index, right?
Yes.
So go this bonus one.
It
will get no additional charge.
Yeah.
100% here, and we will do 0 here, 0 here.
Now it will show higher.
Okay. So this thing has not changed based on your selected index. The maximum illustration rate is 6.73.
That's easy.
Right. So, but yeah, we can click on quick view again. Yeah, and it is 57,000. That makes sense, right? So yeah, blended index annual point to point. This one is just telling the maximum illustration rate. But if you run the report, it gives us all the,
I generally choose all three, like the default, basically 34, 33, and 33. That comes, it has reduced, but it comes out good.
Diversified, basically. You're diversifying within the index.
Diversification is always better. And okay, it kicked me out.
But I'm not sure if Allianz PIMCO includes the PIMCO credit, basically, the dividend.
No, PIMCO is, you're not sure if PIMCO has what?
The dividend. AIG on AIG, Philip mentioned that they do give dividend percentage as the base.
So here the participation rate for PIMCO is 150%.
Right.
That's why.
So that makes a big difference also.
Yeah. And there in the AIG, it is 110%, I believe, 110 or 105.
AIG doesn't have PIMCO, right?
No, but the
AIG
blended
has PIMCO at 90%, 90% participation
AIG has
rate.
less. Yeah.
Yes,
because,
but the base is dividend.
Yeah. So actually, Allianz owns the PIMCO index. So
Allianz own the company PIMCO now. That's right. So, but that doesn't make any difference. PIMCO Tactical Balance Year Index, and this is Global Blend PIMCO Index.
Yes,
I'm not sure
the
if
blended,
both are same. Yeah,
the blended participant MLSB is 110. Sorry.
Yes. In AIG, MLSB is the best.
Yes.
So this one gives the best performance. That's correct. So it kicked me out of the. Let me open the separate window. We'll do it quickly once again. Meanwhile, any question about AIG illustration? Or any other general question?
So, Anil, this was my question actually. Yesterday when we ran AIG illustrations for a client,
right?
I personally did not do it. Namrata helped me, and then Meena helped me.
Right.
What was happening is like the numbers were off as we are discussing right now, because Allianz was based upon 6.7, 6.9% annual returns, and AIG was on 7.3.
Right.
So the numbers were throwing off here and there. And
right.
my personal experience is like when I look at Allianz, it looks much better and consistent. And when you look at the illustration of AIG, there is a column which says guaranteed 0%, the first column.
Yes.
Which is not there in Allianz.
Correct.
But it is good enough to throw off a client that why it is not increasing at all what I'm paying, right?
Yeah.
Although we all understand that market never behaves like that.
Yes.
But it throws off the client.
But so sometimes you're right. The client only gets stuck at this one, right? That exactly. It is 0%, right?
So I was trying. Me and Namrata were trying hard to remove this column somehow from the illustration.
Yeah, no.
On the AIG.
There is no. It doesn't give any option.
Standard format.
Yeah, it's a standard format. It doesn't give. There is no option where we can remove this. They are telling it some compliance reason they have to do that.
Okay.
Plus, you shouldn't remove it.
No, I should not. No. I agree with you. I agree with your point that I should not remove it because that is definitely a good hypothetical situation.
Right.
But Allianz is not required to show it. So when I look at Allianz PDF, it looks much better, clean for me.
You are right. Actually.
Because it is not showing you the worst case scenario, right?
Correct.
Because you cannot expect a market to go down for 15 years continuously down, and you are guaranteed 0%.
Yes. So we try, when we tell the client, we usually tell them that only look at this blue table. This is most realistic one.
But
right.
Do you want to show that to client and even explain what guaranteed means? Then you want to not show, and then after a few years come back and say why I'm not seeing that.
Actually this is exactly what I was thinking in the afternoon. I don't want to show him, and the reason is I'm not trying to be dishonest, but at the same time I'm showing 7% in a good column, right? Or say 7%, but that 7% is also hypothetical. The client can get actually 15% in a particular year, but they are still averaging it.
Right.
The average is based on last 20 years, correct?
80 years.
Exactly.
Yeah, could be.
So in certain year, he or she will actually gain 15%, or 14% or 13%. So his or her portfolio will increase. But when it comes to 0%, we are trying to be too realistic over there, or too hypothetical, I would say, actually.
Too negative.
No, it's not realistic.
It's exactly. It's too negative, actually.
It's a guaranteed. So.
And the irony is that's the first column.
That's actually, I agree. So it depends client to client. So Vishal, usually you are right. We don't want to hide anything, but we know that for sure that this scenario is never going to happen, for 15 years.
Yeah, I think what I feel is as long as you able to make them understand how indexes work, and yet they ask this question and you're able to explain them what that guaranteed 0 means, that is much better than not showing and kind of, like I'll tell you the example. If New York Life person talking to the same client and he said they give guaranteed 0%, they will come back to you and say, you never told me that index universal life guaranteed 0. How you then convey?
I'll tell you this. So that is the first selling point of IUL, that it is guaranteed 0%, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Because whenever I talk to a client, I tell the same thing. It will never be negative for you. It is always going to be 0% or higher, not below that. So that's the first selling point of IUL. Otherwise, I would go for VUL.
Yeah. So then I think it should be okay with that call.
Yeah, I guess you are right. it varies from person to person, and I think we all have seen people who are very stock market savvy, who understand that, oh yeah, this is superficial, it never goes down continuously, and there are some who doesn't understand it at all.
Correct. Average client, gets stuck if you start explaining this, the 0%. Usually I try to avoid, because they become more confused. The less things we tell them, the better it is. If we start telling them all the details, then they will be very confused. But it is person to person, like Vishal said. So
that's true.
It is your judgment. If they particularly ask you that what if market performs 0%, then you tell them that this is guaranteed, but it is never going to happen that way. Market will never perform. Even if you show them that AIG, everybody should be having that illustration. Let me forward you if you don't have it. But there is one presentation, and I have put it in some slides also. So even if the market performs, we always tell them that when market drops, it is good for IUL because your reference point goes down, right? So whenever market falls, your reference point comes down. So it is good for us, even though we get 0% 1 year, but in the long run, it pays off. So even if market goes up, down, like this, still your money will grow like this. So 1 year you will get return, other year you will get 0%, then return, then 0%. Still your money will go up, right? So it will never happen that market keeps on going down, 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 down. It can happen, it goes up, down, up, down. So, but you will still.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you, because you don't want the market to be constant. Otherwise, you will continue to gain 0%.
Correct. And it will never happen. It is not practically possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Any drop is always beneficial for IUL because your following year reference point goes down.
True. And that's the main reason why I'm trying to sell to more clients that this is the down market, because NASDAQ is not in our indexes anymore, right? NASDAQ is only one which is throwing off everyone. But S&P or anything else, it is constant. I mean, it's going up, but it will go down sooner or later. But this is the right time to get into this,
right?
Because then it will grow in coming years.
Yes, you're right.
So while we are talking about, one thing I didn't understand in AIG is this second column, alternate interest rate. Is this something when we don't choose the index? That's the value?
No. This is something they are just showing between the guaranteed and non-guaranteed. They are telling that it might happen that you will get 2.15, let's say. So this is the worst case scenario. This is somewhere in the middle. And this is the average of last 20 years, right?
Got it.
So they are telling that even if we manage to get 2%, still your money will grow like this, right?
And actually, I think AIG both have that option. If you want to, the clients who are looking for, okay, what happens if it is 5%, 3%, or if you don't get that, you just run on the standard, change the illustration rate to 5% and show this is the blue column becomes 5% then.
Or during illustration, if you change the rate.
Yes. So then
that you can do.
Yeah.
Then you choose here, enter custom allocation.
Specific
and then
rate.
you say that.
No, enter specific rate. The second option. Index option में जाइए. Index strategy option, drop down.
Okay. Yeah. Right. You can change it here.
Yes.
Right.
You only told me.
Correct. Yes. So you can run according to that also, but it is always wise to tell them that, look, this is the last 20-year average,
Yeah. So there was few people actually that they were just saying what if it is the best case scenario, what happens if it is only 5%? They are more
Correct. Then you can run it like that.
Yeah.
You're right.
Oh.
Absolutely. And last 20 years is a very good example, so we can always tell them that, see, if you look at long-term chart, so last 20 years is when from year 2000 market has gone down, up, down, up. So this is a typical market, that how it goes up, down, up, down. So future also will be almost similar to this. So this is quite realistic to take average of last 20 years.
So I think one more difference, and I'm not sure some of you may already know, but Allianz has option where you can actually lock your interest rate.
Correct. That's a good point as well. So Allianz have option. Let's say you have chosen the S&P index or PIMCO index, and it is already gone up 10% in August, and you think that next 5 months it might come down. So you can call the company anytime and you can lock it. But once you lock it, if it goes up, you will miss that opportunity, right? If index goes up. But at least that option is available.
And this is not possible in AIG.
This is not possible in AIG, correct?
Got it.
In the middle of the year, you have an option to lock it.
So Anil, that's the question that we always tell people, correct? That when you are investing in these a fixed index strategy, you should not be worried about market going up and down, because you're always going to catch the bottom of the market, correct?
Correct.
So that's the statement that we enforce, and that's truth also from the fixed index strategy perspective. But when we get into the details, then there is a play that you can make even more lucrative. And for the savvy investors, let's say.
This is only for the people who argue that, oh, I can get better returns in stock market. I know I'm a stock market guru.
Exactly.
Only for those people we tell this option.
If you tell to every here and there, they will actually say, oh, then it is also a stock market, because you started from the stock market, correct? That you are taking out risk of a stock market, and then you're again putting the same concept here. So don't get into the details of this. Otherwise, people tend to.
How index lock and stock market related? Sorry.
No, I'm just saying that the concept is that, correct? That,
I think the concept is more like a mortgage rate where you can lock the mortgage.
Mortgage, yeah. Whatever. I think you're correct. What I'm saying is that when people who are not very savvy investors, for them to make a decision that, okay, next 5 months or 6 months, I should be fine, go and do that and lock this rate and this and that. That will actually creates what do you call, less trusting thing. Not that it is wrong, but normal investor who has not played with the stocks and don't go in the details, they will have a hard time to take it. But for the savvy investors, yes, there are a couple of people who have discussed, and they probably be doing it. They might do it. That's their choice if they want to get into it. That's my.
And
I agree with that.
Like I was telling, leave it to the stock market. If it drops, like in 2008, it dropped. It is good for IUL, because now the reference point has come down here. Now market will go up from here 10%, and client will get 10% from there, from there, right?
Exactly.
There,
only for that one year that you are not going to, or a few months or something, you will not get anything negative, zero. But after that, there is a huge chance of getting up. If market crashes,
upside potential becomes huge.
Exactly. That's where you are going to make money in this.
Correct. So, yeah. So I think this is good enough. So we covered two policies. So maybe Vishal will do the next week North American. illustration. Vishal, you have InSmark also installed?
I have installed, but
never used it.
I used it, but I think I'm still not much comfortable with the UI, or
okay,
it does not really help me what I'm trying
right,
to.
Right. That's fine. So next week we will run, Vishal will show us the North American.
Anil, again, 2 questions before you wrap up. First is, every time you Google, I'm wondering why North American is always top rated as compared to anyone else. And practically, I have not gone into what is the rating criteria, but it is always top rated for many reasons that they state. Second thing is, when we are talking about Allianz versus AIG, is there any difference in expense ratio? What is being invested and what is being expensed?
What is being from the investor perspective, not from the
exactly. I mean, let's say I put $20,000 every year.
Right.
Out of 20, how much ratio is going into my expenses, company's expenses, versus how much is invested? Is there any difference between?
One point, I don't know, you may be aware, but if you do annually premium versus monthly, there is an additional fee to process your payment.
Correct. So
that's
annual premium is always recommended because the administrative cost is less for annual premium. So, and other than that, there is no other way to tell about the expenses and all, but you can see that in 5 years, first 5 years, this client has put 60,000. Here the accumulated value is 58,000, right? And so here in this policy, the break even is coming at around 6 years when the accumulated value is becoming more than the input amount of 72,000. Whereas in case of Allianz, first 5 years, you put 60,000, the accumulated value has become 60,000, right? So the break even has come in 5 years.
Actually, on the, I don't know about Allianz, but AIG, you can select the option to show the cost. So while you're paying the premium, the costs are very high. And once you're done paying the premium, 12 years, 15 years, your cost significantly goes down, yearly.
So they both have a trade-off, basically.
Correct. So when you run the illustration, you run report. So you click on policy cost and benefit report. You click this, so you will get with cost.
Okay.
So it will be similar illustration, but in the bottom, all the way in the bottom, there will be one table where they will show you the cost also.
Yearly cost that they show.
Yeah. But be careful, the overall, we discussed it in the beginning. We will discuss it in another meeting. In the beginning years, they will charge the fees, but they return all the fees as a bonus in the later years. So in long term, it will be very little fees. The people who argue about fees, we can show them. So next meeting, I can show them that fees is not a concern at all in IUL because it is minimal. It is less than what Fidelity will charge you if you keep the same money in Fidelity account.
Right. So Anil boss and Vishal, I think he has been explaining a lot of things. Let me ask an honest question. If you have a friend, which policy, which IUL you will sell to him? AIG, Allianz, or North American?
You don't have to sell anything.
Yeah, you don't have to sell anything. And diversification.
Now we are going on BOP path.
No. You don't have to sell. Really, if he is really your friend, you just give 3 options and ask him to take the decision.
And
let's say he's not very market savvy.
No. One more thing, for diversification purpose, we always say that husband can have from one company and wife from another company, and kids can have from third company. So diversification is the key. Yeah.
Also, if they have some health issue, North American give better rate. So also both Allianz and North American has a accelerated underwriting process. So there are few criteria that can make decide, like if you really want the IUL plus term together, you want term for 35 years, only the AIG giving that option.
Okay. Let me rephrase my question. So in that case, if I have 3 friends who are only interested in building a value for their kids, because one thing that I keep selling to my very close friend is that my dad and your dad never gave you a $3 million in your hand when you were 40 to do whatever you want. So this is what I tell them, is that you can do the same thing, a very good thing for your kids. You start it today, you build a discipline, and at the age of 23, you hand over to your kids that you keep paying this and don't worry about it. At the age of 40 or 50, they will have like $2 million, $3 million in their hand, the kids. So in those scenarios, I mean, is there any bifurcation, like which one I should sell them, or they all are similar over the period of 30 years?
I think it's very
similar,
very selective question, in the sense, if I've been in this one for a long time, I probably had more chance to experience the return between the companies. What I feel somehow is, if it is just the IUL, Allianz is also good, but it does not give 3 living benefit. It just gives 2 living benefit. But again, till now nobody even thinking about living benefit. Now there is a option. So if you are happy with 2, I think still Allianz is good. Also, what Allianz says, because they own some of this index, the cost probably is less compared to other company. So that's another scenario. With AIG, I think it gives all the benefit that someone is considering. So if you are looking 35 years, if you are looking disability, that term covers disability that IUL covered,